time during the ride are you weightless and for how long?
The different types of roller coasters and the weightlessness and the G-forces, I never knew there was so much involved.
I was expecting a physics class to be a little bit slower, not as fun.
Counting how many seconds you like out of your seat, feeling your stomach in your throat, and all that cool stuff.
I am terrified of roller coasters. By the end, I actually was okay with riding the ride.
This doesn't make sense. I do feel lighter going upside down.
Riding a roller coaster is not just great fun, it's also great physics. We wanted to be thinking about science outside the class. Taking the students to Busch Gardens gives them a chance to really experience physics and not just talk about it.
Science is not my favorite subject, but Dr. Wright made it a lot simpler.
Why do we go to Busch Gardens? It's extreme physics. Physics explains the physical universe, so it's explanations of how things work. On many of the rides, there's an accelerometer that looks something like this. It measures the G-forces. Whenever you're in free fall, your hair's flying, the accelerometer is going to read 0. If they don't see how it's practical, how it really applies in their life, they can't get into it. The more real I can make the class, the better they're going to understand the physics.
He's broken it down to where you can really relate to everything that he's trying to teach.
You're going to build a device that will drop to the ground in the longest possible time. Take into account air friction, terminal velocity, all those cool things we talked about in class. Just like magic, only you know the answers to all the questions. 3, 2, 1, drop. If I could get people excited about science, that would be amazing.
He's like no other teacher I've ever had.
Projectile motion, that's the physics. Two-dimensional motion with gravity.
I did not expect the high energy, which I love about him.
It comes across to the students.
We want you to have good physics experiences, right? Yeah.
He's not a teacher who does PowerPoints.
The question is, are these nails sharp?
Every class, he usually brings a cart full of toys
I wouldn't want to sleep on one of these overnight.
to help explain and make things a little bit easier for everyone to understand.
Small area means big pressure. Big area means small pressure.
Which is something that I've never experienced in any of my other classes.
He's excellent with showing us different assignments. He is great at making his classes interesting.
Roller coasters are awesome with that because they're extreme. 1 G means you feel normal gravity. 2 Gs means you feel twice as heavy as normal. The bottom of a roller coaster hill, you feel up to 4 times heavier than normal. That's really quite a thrill. Where's the heaviest point of the ride?
It makes you remember, and it makes understanding it a lot easier.
The loop.
You go up, you feel weightless. You go down, you feel weightless. And when you turn is when you think you would feel weightless, but you don't, you're heavier.
When we talk about force and acceleration and momentum, we did get to experience that in a fun way on the rides.
Here is like we're weightless, and then you come out of it, and that's when you feel really heavy, like if you're going into the curve.
And off the ride, they're making measurements for how fast was I going, and how tight was the turn, how heavy should I have felt. We're using the principles of physics to describe why they feel what they feel.
Yes, I feel like it's a 0 G.
But students will sometimes say, I was a little bit hesitant. You know, in math at a theme park, what's wrong with this picture? Now that I understand how and why they work, wow, what an awesome experience.
The one thing that I took away from the Busch Garden experience was that I am not as terrified of the rides. It's mainly because I understand the physics behind it.
So the same subject now for almost 40 years. How many G's did you get there? And it never gets dull because the students change over every year. There are new people to inflict with physics.
It's eye-opening. Everything we do, there's physics in it. I never realized that before.
It impacted me because I enjoy it now. It makes me want to learn more about physics.
Now I'm not as intimidated from physics as I thought I was going to be, and I'm looking forward to taking the more advanced physics classes.
He's given me that gift of being more interested. There's so much more out there to learn.